Right, ladies and gentlemen, we are ready to move on once again. So would you please welcome to the cage, Callum Novello. And would you welcome to the cage, Connor George. This is Amateur K1 over 3 2-minute rounds of action in the featherweight division. And in the blue corner, he weighed in at 64.4 K. He represents the Minotaur gym, Callum Novello. And across the cage, his opponent in the red corner. He weighed in at 63.8 K. He represents the Paul Whiffin Academy, Connor St. George. Your referee, Mr. Sam Amidi.
We remain in the featherweight division for Amateur K1 once more. Callum Novello, Minotaur gym in the blue, just the slightly shorter. Connor St. George from the Paul Whiffin Academy in the red. 3 2-minute rounds of action. And having seen Ben Woolis, we've seen what the featherweight division can produce, Dean.
They still possess that power, but just blistering speed, as you can see here. Connor George firing combinations. He's trying to land that turning back kick, just glanced off the shoulder of Novello.
Well, to be honest, Dean, I've watched Connor George grow up in this game, and he's a real talent at the age. And this is possibly his biggest stage at the moment, so I know he was relishing the opportunity tonight.
George doing a good job of throwing out the kicks to keep Novello at bay, and then when he comes into that striking distance, he'll go to the head and cover up nicely.
Now, when you've got a flamboyant person like you have in Connor in front of you, Callum Novello's doing exactly the right thing when he chops away at those legs. When you've got such a mobile fighter, take away that natural ability.
Novello looking for the big overhand right. Nice knee. And he'll have one knee in the clinch here in the K1 rules.
That's right, it's got to be instantaneous. And there's the high point kick from Conor to Callum's jaw, and he follows up now, pushing forward. He's got to be careful because Callum looks strong and he looks to engage with the heavy punches. Looks to his corner though, because Conor George has set an incredible pace in this opening round, Dean.
Novello now has found those leg kicks, Malcolm, as you attested to earlier. He blasted that lead leg kick and he's going to do it again. Now what he's trying to do is, as George comes in to fire those big punches...
No, Dean, he ate a teep kick and then a left and right from Conor George off that lead leg. He really had to eat it, but you were right. The tactic is right against someone with good movement and that sort of ability. Take it away from him, but Conor is relentless at the moment and he had to eat that teep.
George is responding with that teep. He's negating the forward motion and the leg kicks with that teep. He'll fire that out to the midsection and he'll serve to knock Novello off balance.
Now, the one danger for Conor George, who I thought was in dominant form in that opening round, well, there's two actually, we've noted. Callum's doing the right thing by trying to chop at the legs to slow his opponent down. But a couple of times when he's in full flow, and when anyone is in full flow, that's when you're also vulnerable. And Callum does seem to look to have good hands. So Conor's got to be on point.
Novello definitely with that power in the right hand. George is doing the right thing. He's moving in and striking, and then he's moving out laterally from side to side. He's not straight in front of Novello. Very smart tactics by Conor George.
Round 2 of 3, and this one has definitely got the crowd going. And we had a cracking featherweight K1 bout before this. We're following up with this real depth of talent here for the Lion Fighting Championships in the featherweight division.
George looking for the touch, but Novello wanted none of it. He wants to get straight back at the action. Looks like he's going to try and set up that leg kick with the right hand, looking for powerful hooks.
This is what we mentioned in the first round. This is the danger for Conor George, is the powerful low kicks and the big right hand of Novello. George has to keep slipping them, Dean.
And George has taken these low kicks into account. You see there, he skips his lead leg back and instantly comes in with punches to the head. That leg kick went through.
Yes, good work from George. And this is where I said the only time he's vulnerable is when he's in attack, because he didn't check this time because he was so keen on coming forward. But he's asking lots of questions of Callum Novello here.
Novello more active now. He's switching up the kicks and the punches. He's actually posing a valid threat now to George. George is going to have to switch up his tactics, look to go to the body and work those teeps that we saw in the first round.
Well, to be fair to Callum Novello, he had to, because George was so explosive in the opening round. Callum Novello has seen that. He's done the right thing. That's why this fight at the moment, Dean, is so exciting, because Novello has adapted, adjusted, and come forward with his own game.
Now Novello is starting to utilise some great footwork. He'll often pivot off. He'll circle around to one side and then throw the right hand and try and catch George as he comes in.
That said, the teep worked for George again, and then a stiff left, and Novello just stood there to say, that was a good left. And there's that teep again that sets up everything else for George.
Novello looked like he was momentarily rocked from that nice jab from George.
Well, he walked through that low kick to land the jab. And this is psychological as well, these two men, because Callum Novello, to me, seems as hard as they come. But George is saying it doesn't faze me.
Novello needs to keep this pressure, keep the pace going on. He can't afford to step back and let George dictate the distance.
Well, for me, that was a far better round for Callum Novello. Having said that, I still think he lost it. But he did more, he asked more questions, he chopped at the leg and looked at the right hand. And what I like about these two young men, Dean, is both adapted. Callum Novello adapted at the beginning of the round from what he saw in the first. After what he took at the beginning of the second, Conor George then readapted and reasserted his authority. This is a real battle of wills between two very skillful men. Third and final round of an excellent featherweight contest. Fast-paced, full-blooded, everything that K1 should be, Dean. And again, as you mentioned in the second, Callum doesn't want to touch gloves, even for the third and final round.
He's really in the zone of optimal functioning here. It's a psychological state where he's ready to fight, and he doesn't want anything to deviate off the fact. Nice body kick there from George. He's really putting on the pressure now, Malcolm.
Well, what he did well there was he skipped back to give Callum Novello the idea that he was moving out of range again, then flew forward once more. His timing and range finding is superb at the moment. That said, clipped again with the dangerous right of Novello. This, as it should be, really going up in the third. Now, did you see the tight background there from Novello with that arm? It didn't work here because I saw Paul Whiffin saying to George, come off that centre line, and that's how he got round that.
Novello now skip back from that attempted teep by George and serve him to parry it away. So he'll circle his left arm, his lead hand away to parry the leg kick, just like that. Catch it and then fire in the low kick or even the overhand right.
And again, nice turn from George to look to throw the knee. And both men, as you said, you're trying to use that technique to turn the man to get... And there was the cross-armed Muay Thai, but he takes the... Oh, George takes the kick on the spin, takes the right hand as well. This man's got a chin of iron. And the cheek from George again, Dean.
Nice. Novello now has found his groove. He keeps looking over to his corner and they're telling him to go forward, don't move back, don't give George that space to fire off at will.
What a great third round. George for the first time breathes deeply, then the uppercut comes in, then the chopping low kick. And both men just beginning to feel the pace, team, but that cheek works defensively again for George.
Those right hands are sneaking through from Novello. He just needs to close the distance a bit more so he can land the full brunt of force. But again, an outstanding fight here in the K1 division, Malcolm.
Dean, I could have watched another round, another 2 rounds from these two men. Superb performance by both of them. I think George has taken it. Novello got stronger as the bout went on. But I love the way, what I most liked about this is the way both men constantly adapted their tactics. Superb stuff.
George was switching up the teep. That was the key, I believe, in this fight. Novello looking to place the right hand, the more powerful punching style, but George, coupled with in and out footwork and mixing up his techniques, could have taken it. But however, we will need to go to the judges' scorecards for the decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, before I make the official announcement, can I say this one is possibly the fight of the night so far from these two young men. Such talent in this cage. But we do have a unanimous decision. Our judges in favour of the red corner, Connor St. George.